Rolling here. I'm gonna go ahead and do the intro voice that I do every time I'm on a YouTube video. Hello, ladies and germs. It is currently the beginning of 2018. I am James Allen McCune. Chase is back in Georgia. He is not here right now. He is. We would normally talk on the phone and kind of work that way, but I am in a car. If you can tell, I'm sure it sounds like we're in a car. You're gonna hear lots of turn signal noises and various asphalt riding underneath the tire sounds, and I'm with my two friends from various YouTube channels. Boys, please introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Gus Johnson from the same named YouTube channel. That's Gus Johnson.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Eddy Burback, and Gus kind of took the same name thing that I was maybe thinking about doing, but my YouTube channel is my name, is what I'm saying.
You thought you were going to do Gus Johnson as your name?
No, Gus, you see, I was going to say something like, it's the same name as what I had just listed.
So like your YouTube channel is MY space NA.
No, where's the unlock button here?
Oh no, please. This is like every time we're in a car together, Gus fakes jumping out into traffic.
Just working it up for the real thing.
Maybe one day.
This is kind of new for us. We are, this is the first podcast of the new, and there's a fire truck.
Perfect.
For the first podcast of the new year, we thought we'd interview a Los Angeles Fire Department. They just passed us. Hopefully they'll circle back. But no, this is something new. Maybe we'll do some more of this sort of thing. Maybe it'll turn into video form down the road.
Dude, it'll be comedians in cars getting coffee.
It's comedians in a Kia Soul trying to bore their way through traffic.
It almost sounded like you were going to say something different than getting coffee, Gus, and then you just gave up. It's just the same show as Jerry Seinfeld.
It's the same thing.
I'm only doing this if it premieres on Crackle, though.
Is that where that show is?
Yeah, well, it was. Netflix bought it now.
Oh.
Yeah. Every time
okay, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, thank God. Now people
what is Crackle for? What do you?
Nobody.
Okay. Good.
Watch the one offer I get for any show ever be a Crackle show, and then they dig this up and go, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Don't worry, no one's listening to this.
No one's watching Crackle.
Yeah,
either,
nobody. They don't have executives that listen to anything at all.
We have to Google their names, your names, and try. Although my agent does that sometimes. They'll just like put my name in a search engine and like, hey, I found this thing. What the fuck? But yeah, do you guys actually wait? I'm always curious about this. Do you guys have like managers, or like how does that work for like YouTubers?
This is very. Should I say mine first? Because it's like base YouTube.
Yeah, do it up.
So right now, there's the big networks that people sign to,
mm-hmm.
and I am not a part of that. I'm still not sure if I want to be. So the way YouTube works at its base level is you can sign up with Google AdSense, and AdSense is just kind of the purest form of paying you for ad revenue rather than having a studio like figure out what ads you're going to get and then pay you and take a percentage to do other stuff for you.
Right. So I've seen like my channel, as small as it is, it's like that has been kind of opened up. So like so anyone can kind of get AdSense.
Yeah.
As a way of making some cash.
There's some kind of
not anyone, but
cutoff for it, but it's really low. It's low enough for anyone to do.
I think it's like 10,000 views.
Yeah,
and
I think
after that you can start making pennies on it or whatnot. But like, at what point did you guys start to turn what you do into a career? Because this is like your full-time jobs.
Yeah, currently.
Mine's very recent, so Gus, yours is more interesting.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
I guess I've been really kind of. It's a weird situation because I'm coming out of college right now. As of recording, I have a semester left. So inherently, going to school in the Midwest, you don't need as much income as, say, living out in LA full-time job-wise. So this, for basically the entirety of my college career, it's been kind of a side job while I still had to go like be a waiter and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say probably for the last year or so, it's been more full-time for what I'm doing.
That's awesome. That's super interesting. What was the turning point? Like, was there a point where you're just like, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna try and like use this, or was it like a clear line of?
Well, it was a weird line because in the first probably half of the full-time part of my career here, ads were still really great. This was before the ad apocalypse and stuff too. Yeah. So I could kind of just skate by on just making the goofy short videos on a couple sponsorship things a month, selling a few t-shirts. But then the ad apocalypse hit, early of 2017. But the big kick into gear was this last August when I had a big video that blew up. That was the recording a Spotify ad video.
Oh, dude, that was so funny.
Thank
that
you.
was timed perfectly.
Yeah.
We came right off of doing Par 9.
Yeah.
If people don't know, it's a Kickstarter series Gus had. And I think it was 2 days later you were on the trending page.
Yeah, and that was that big one. And then so that one got me a bunch of new audience members. And then since then I've just kind of been on the trending tab a bunch, and it's helped a lot. But,
Yeah, you're like their golden boy right now.
well, I gotta just make sure I don't fuck up.
I mean, you're no Logan Paul.
I won't film any dead people.
They're not going to defend you. Yeah, they're not going to defend you doing anything too scandalous, but they'll certainly put you up on the pedestal every once in a while. It's kind of like YouTube's fridge, you know.
Yeah,
It's like
I
a mom
suppose so.
like kind of putting a magnet on different videos. Like this is Gus. I love Gus. I don't like
This
him.
seems kind of shitty, but the trending pages almost seem less official to me just because I see Gus on the top of it.
My
No,
stuff
not-
sticks
no,
out.
not
No,
'cause
it
your stuff.
sticks
It's-
out so much though.
But no, I don't know,
What
because
do you
you could
mean?
say that about really any
I
channel
don't
that's
know,
up there.
though. Like-
that's not a late night show. But it's just weird for me personally to go click on trending and to see Gus's video at the top while I'm also having a conversation with Gus. It just doesn't feel
That's so
real.
cool,
almost.
though.
No,
Oh my
I
God.
would agree with you, Eddie. Like it doesn't. My stuff too. While I love my stuff and I'm so proud of it, it doesn't really match the other trending stuff. Like
Other than ProZD, I say not that you guys make similar content,
Oh,
but just
yeah.
he also sticks out a little bit.
he
there,
definitely
too.
does. Like we're very much the outliers because it's a bunch of just late night shows, movie trailers, and kind of longer daily vlogger / pranks kind of
Yeah,
channels.
yeah.
And then like, I mean, everything else on there is essentially, unless it's a viral video from some like independent guy that just filmed like, oh, here's a big house fire or something.
Right.
Like all this stuff is long, so like my 20-second sketches don't really match anything else that's on there, at least lengthwise.
That's always. Oh, I'm getting a call from Steven Septic.
Wow.
All right.
This is star-studded podcast now.
Hey, my man.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, we're at the arcade right now in Santa Monica. It's pretty noisy. We know of an arcade in Sherman Oaks. Is that better for you guys to go there as well?
We can do that.
Yeah, it's going to be probably about the same distance that you're at right now.
Okay. All right. Cool. Just text me the address and we'll start going that way.
Okay, James will text you the address, Jamie.
Copy that.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
so much.
See you soon.
Yep.
But yeah. Anyway, getting back to your videos and stuff, it's like you and Ian. What's his? I'm sorry.
ProZD is also on the trending tab. a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, Ian has been up there.
Has Ian been on trending now?
Not iDubbbz Ian, but
Ian Khan.
No, yeah,
no.
Ian Khan.
dude.
I've seen him on top of YouTube Haiku, but I
haven't seen him on
personally
trending.
never
dude,
seen
his
him on
video about Logan Paul, his parody of Logan Paul, hit trending,
Did it really?
and that's when it got taken down.
Oh, damn it, that sucks because now that's gonna kind of probably screw up the algorithm for him in the future.
Yeah, man,
This
it's a
stuff's
bummer.
pretty funny. I like it.
I think that's one of the things I love so much about y'all's content is that it's like really dense quality shit, and it's really frustrating to see that totally get squashed by the way that YouTube functions. And it's like,
It's weird, yeah, and it's like part of me. I mean, I don't hold back about how I feel with YouTube too, but it's not like I'm gonna go out and be making a bunch of videos like bitching about like YouTube and stuff, because clearly there is an element of not wanting to bite the hand that feeds me. There's a ton of problems with YouTube right now.
Right.
I'm clearly seeing the benefit of the freak YouTube god reaching in and being like, yeah, you can go on trending and stuff too. Tons of stuff needs to be fixed at YouTube. In terms of like that you mentioned it with Ian's video getting pulled and then getting wrecked for the trending thing, that actually happened to iDubbbz when he released the Content Cop.
I remember that.
That
That
was
it.
number one trending in the first hour. And then
I mean, that
took
video
it off.
had millions within the first day, and it was like,
But I mean, like, he was number one trending, and then the YouTube removed it, and then once they reinstated it, even though it was within the hour, I think they reinstated it. It was no longer on trending at all. It wrecked.
Oh my God.
It wrecked that algorithm for him.
did
so.
he did he like lose the ability to make cash off that? Because there's like that's kind of a crass thing to kind of bring up, but I mean that's a really important part of this, is that when YouTube demonetizes something for the first 10% of the day when it's released, you lose a huge chunk of that revenue, right? So like his
Yeah.
livelihood's threatened by this happening.
He tweeted about that being demonetized, I believe, as well. And yeah, I mean, with that, like, I make a video, hopefully I make 2 videos a month. Like,
Right.
that's because the watch time's so long, but then, and I work really hard on them and they go out. If I can get 3, that'd be fantastic.
Right.
So then, yeah, the first day is obviously most of the views on a video, and like my last one got demonetized for 24 hours or 12 hours, but like it was pretty much the entire day.
Dude.
So yeah, that's like a giant chunk of your month's earnings just gone.
Man, that is so frustrating.
Yeah.
That this is so out of your control, because that's one of the things that I've always admired the most about YouTubers that I would always talk about is that the thing that is it's all you guys just hustling. Like, it's all up to you to get shit done, and it sucks that is out of your control, like whether or not it actually makes money at all. It's like you have no guarantees.
Yeah.
Like, that bugs the shit out of me, because that's kind of like the frustration of my career, is that we have no guarantee that we can even call ourselves, actors or directors or whatever, because it's all up to somebody else to decide whether we can or not.
Yeah, and one thing that really sucks, because like it's been different for everybody. For me personally, in terms of like bad demonetization stuff, like my September, October, Novembers were super shitty. All of my videos were getting flagged for like limited or no ads, or just straight up demonetized and stuff.
Oh my god. That's so weird, because your stuff is so not. There's nothing offensive about it.
And that's the thing about it, though, is because it's not people looking at it; it's a machine learning algorithm. So clearly, if like anyone from YouTube sat down, they could spend 5 minutes on my channel to watch 10 videos, and go, "Oh yeah, this guy doesn't make offensive stuff."
No.
But it's just this machine algorithm. So luckily, though, like come December, it started kind of pulling back and realizing, oh, okay, this stuff is fine. So I stopped getting flagged as much. But I mean, still that kind of stuff, especially I think that these big like fluctuations in the algorithm and the payment stuff affects the smaller to like mid-range YouTubers.
Yeah, I told you it's 50, I think, and it's weird to put it in its subscriber number, but it's a good idea to gauge for most people. If you're between 50,000 and 300,000, the demonetization stuff really, really, really messes with you.
Man.
Yeah, because it's not like, and it's shitty if it hurts anybody, regardless of your
without a doubt,
regardless of your earnings. But if it's you're like somebody that's making right about your rent every month and right about like kind of around your grocery budget and everything, like sometimes, I mean, for some of these people, if you lose like $500 of earnings, that will like really blows your budget.
Yeah, that ruins you. And it's got to be weird with taxes and all this stuff too, right? Like,
very strange.
Are you technically employed by YouTube, or are you independent contractors?
I'm not sure how that works.
When I was part of Maker Studios, which I absolutely hated, I'm so glad that they kind of tanked. They were the worst.
Yeah.
But they did taxes for me, so I didn't really know what I had to do. Like, I fill out forms and stuff. But with AdSense, which I have to do now, you have to just do it yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Does Studio 71 do taxes for you guys?
I should know.
It's pulling up on that time of year. I know this is not the most like comfortable or interesting topic to go in on, but that kind of fascinates me, because this is something I talk about a lot. I feel like YouTubers don't intentionally become business people, but they have to be in order to survive, and that's a huge part of it, is understanding how to label yourself, as far as the rest of the world is concerned. And it's like such a weird gray area, not only with how the government looks at you, but with how your family and friends look at you, and the way that your peers, even within YouTube, see you, based on what your content is. They could have strange perspectives and stuff. It's just like, you guys almost have everything working against you sometimes.
It's weird that you say the business thing too, because when I pictured doing YouTube as a job, I was like, I'm never gonna have to really email anybody. And oh my god, I'm emailing way more than I ever have. I just had no idea. So it is like, it's almost the email level of working an office job, which I had no expectation of doing. And then obviously nobody sees that side of like family and friends. They're just like, oh, he just sits down, talks to the camera, and puts it on YouTube, and that's his job.
Yeah, I mean, from an outsider's point of view, it's like, okay, this guy releases a 30-second video every 3 days, like, at face value, I think a lot of people unfairly are like, I could do that, I could whip out the cell phone and stuff. I mean, for what I do and stuff too, each sketch will take at least probably 4 or 5 hours from start to finish, which is still pretty low production time. But
yeah,
guest speaker.
That is maybe calling. I'll call her back. This is what happens when you're like scheduling, when you're trying to do something more than one thing at one time, is that everything else kind of piles in on you.
That's
sorry, go
everything
ahead.
I try to do in my life. No, but like there's so much that even when I'm not directly working on a sketch, like Eddie totally said it right. Sometimes I'll have hours a day where I'm just emailing and responding to stuff.
Wow.
Because it's like a lot of times too, because we are kind of at the smaller mid-range level for YouTubers and stuff, like we have to rely on like sponsorships for a portion of our income. And we're not at like the point of like millions of subs where you just have every day tons of sponsors rolling in. So a lot of our stuff still relies on kind of cold calling people and being like, this is who I am, this is what I do, are you interested in working together?
Like one of your more recent uploads is him and I making a bidet commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that was a fucking riot.
Oh, I'm glad you liked
that was
it.
so good.
We were so happy with that when we finished it.
Oh, that was a really, really good one. Yeah, it's interesting to me how much this is kind of like driven by yourselves, and it's kind of a requirement that you find a way to keep YouTube out of the equation as far as like getting paid.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, I've heard multiple YouTubers talk about that, like how they're kind of, and a lot like the making videos is almost like a side business to getting sponsorships and like calling these people and like managing your stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing that sucks. Like it doesn't just purely suck to deal with like the sponsorship stuff. Like, I mean, email stuff can kind of get old, but for the most part, the majority of the people you interact with, like they're cool people. I mean, anyone that's willing to work with like a YouTuber for sponsorship stuff is inherently a lot more forward-thinking and open-minded and stuff too. And I just, at least for my content, I'm really lucky that I really try to only put out like maybe 2 sponsored things a month, because there's no way I can work a sponsor into a 30-second video, you know?
Right.
So I'll save it for like a longer video or a big sketch or something.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like, I remember when I first moved out of my parents' house and was kind of like thinking about life and stuff as a whole and like trying to be an actor, was like I was kind of frustrated at the idea of buying shelves. This sounds unrelated, I promise it is. I was like, the idea of getting shelves was frustrating to me, because it was like, life is so much more than just putting stuff on top of other stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of, I don't know why that concept was so weird to me, but I felt like all of the things that you do that people see on Facebook, all the hiking and like, you know, cool shit that you do and experience in life, like that's life.
Yeah.
Why should I go find something to put like, I don't know, pictures on, or I don't know, it felt so meaningless to do that. But in reality, those little menial things they have way more to do with what life is than what everybody sees, you know. And that's how it is with creative stuff. It's like we get into this for what the title says we are, you know, filmmakers, whatever. And what the truth is that for you guys, it's like you have to be businessmen who call folks and collaborate with businesses and you know, manage funds, and you know, and then for me it's auditioning and meetings, and it's like there's so much stuff that is so secondary to the actual job that it's just fascinating to me how that's then perceived by the public.
Yeah, it really is. Where I'm sure, especially with the auditioning process when you started it too, it's the same with us calling people. Is you feel this need almost for a little bit. We're like, I shouldn't have to do this, and then you're like, no, you do though.
Yeah.
And it's just like you didn't perceive it in the beginning when you started, and that's the problem. Is that other people don't see that from the outside, like you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, you know, not to make this about me, but I had a period last year where I had just kind of like decided I hated acting, and I had just kind of given up on it, and was just like, fuck it, this sucks. And I had a friend, my agent offered to one of her friends to have me do a thing called Word Theater with her. I may have talked about this in a previous episode, but it was essentially just me taking a short story that was being premiered by T.C. Eliot, I think, is an incredible writer, and then just reading and performing that story for an audience. And it was like the most basic form of storytelling, you know, because that's literally what it was. But it was like, you know, it was like what cavemen did around campfires and shit. It's like that. And I had so much fun, and I was so proud of that it was like all of a sudden a huge realization, like, no, I really fucking love this. I love telling stories, and I love performing, and I love caring about something so much that other people then care about it.
Yeah.
I love that, but the lifestyle of this business and whatever, and I think that ties in with you guys too, is like that other shit, the crust, is not at all, it takes away from the creative process so much sometimes that it's really hard to feel like you're being fulfilled.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're not, you haven't done something in a while, but you're still within the lifestyle of it.
Yeah.
Because then, if you haven't done something creative, like, I know for me, and I'm sure if that period, because, like, what woke you up with was doing that again.
Yeah.
Was, like, if I'm behind and I maybe haven't uploaded in a long time, but I'm still emailing sponsors, it'll feel like that's all I'm doing.
Right.
And I'll start to hate it a little bit.
Yeah.
But then you upload and then you're like, oh yeah, this is why I love doing it. People saying that they really like it, people saying that they laughed at the video, like that's the reason for doing it.
Yeah, it's a community thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
I think in a lot of ways too, it's not really like, I mean, it sounds kind of like vapid to say like, oh, I hope that I get to that level someday where someone else can do this work for me. Because I take pride in like kind of hustling and like finding sponsors and stuff, or I really like doing kind of like producer aspects of my own little shoots, which are admittedly very small scale sometimes, but like trying to call up, find like, oh, I gotta find a local theater, or I need to find somebody with a bunch of these kind of props or something. Like, it's fun to do independently, but sometimes it does really get in the way of just performing, which is ultimately what you want to do.
Right, yeah. And it sucks to me that, like, because you guys, I consider you guys filmmakers. Like, it sucks that people will often just kind of, like, brush it off, like, oh, you're just YouTubers, And not only are you not getting credit for all the hard work you're doing outside of the videos, but you're not even getting proper credit for even making those videos. It's like, I don't know. I never understood the disrespect that YouTubers tend to get, like that term YouTuber. Like there's something dirty about that. I don't understand it.
I think maybe it's because, and even though I'm super frustrated with it too, I totally agree with you. It's because there are some people on YouTube, a lot of people, maybe even most, who aren't doing it creatively almost. Like I could even say there is creativity in like vlogging, but it's not this piece that you want to upload. You know what I mean? It's not this piece of content that so I don't know, it's weird because it's accessible for everyone, and some people don't want to be even like artistic or comedic in what they upload. And then so that's why I think the one name of a YouTuber is just way too big of a blanket to just put on everybody.
Right. I mean, because like God knows how much money Jimmy Fallon makes on his YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Does that make him a YouTuber? Is that less significant in some way?
Has Jimmy Fallon ever looked at the upload page of his YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Sorry guys, you're saying.
Well, I wonder if this is a little bit of a shift in subject too, but do you consider it like right for in the YouTube rewind thing that more of these traditional media people are leaking into the rewinds?
How do you mean?
Well, like especially last year, I think The Rock was like the most prominently featured guy in YouTube Rewind.
Colbert introduced it.
And Colbert introduced it, and I love The Rock. I love Colbert.
Yeah.
But part of me is just sort of like, they're like, this isn't really your outlet. I get that you guys are killing it online too in terms of stuff, but like, it doesn't seem very YouTube,
Yeah, it's like the TV aspect of YouTube, like especially the late night shows. I wouldn't consider them a part of the community, but I'm sure YouTube wants them to consider themselves as part of the community.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when an actress makes a perfume scent, I mean, maybe that's their passion. I don't know, but I've never seen a singer or an actor or anyone do that kind of thing, like make perfume or makeup, and me think like, oh yeah, that's nothing more than. I can't help but think like that's just money. That's just trying to get money. There's like no passion in that, or no creative like inkling of that. I bet you it was just somebody like, hey, what would be smart for your wallet is to have to sell preteens this weird flowery thing that's going to dissipate after 10 minutes. Like,
I think the only one that I would say was a passion thing, and it's completely separate in the way that it went about it, because obviously like you're saying, it's mostly branding stuff, is I genuinely believe that Kanye West wanted to make clothes.
Oh yeah.
That's like the only one exception out of all the celebrities that do that stuff where I'm like, oh, I think that guy is being very genuine about it.
I read a lot about that actually, because I had the same thought. I was like, does he actually give a shit? Because he's making a lot of noise. And I do think I think it's just the way he went about it that was kind of like, dude, I don't know. You don't need to be selling that shirt for $500.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's the side of it that's kind of frustrating to me.
Well, if people are buying it,
and they probably are. It's just kind of like, I don't know. There's such a strange. It's a strange thing in the entertainment industry to trade genres as far as like how like it's diversifying your portfolio at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's hard to knock the hustle, but it does feel kind of skeevy sometimes. Like The Rock making his YouTube channel, it's like of course that dude's gonna be successful on that.
Yeah, and you know, I don't fault individuals for not, you know, like staying in their lane per se. I don't think that a diversification of your like image or career choice is a bad thing. My thing is strictly with YouTube choosing to like put these people that are in traditional media and already have these ultra successful careers in television and stuff and movies and put them at the forefront of a platform where at its like base value was kind of like, hey, anyone can pick up a camera and do this, you know? Like,
Oh yeah.
I think it's the way they go about it too, though, because I wouldn't consider Colbert or The Rock YouTubers, but if Colbert or The Rock in their free time like vlogged or sat down in their homes and filmed a video and maybe even edited it, then I would be totally cool with them being embraced with it. It's not. I don't think it's a status thing, but like The Rock's content is clearly like promotional kind of stuff a lot of the time, like making a video with Logan Paul to promote his new movie or something like that.
I've never really watched it. What's his stuff?
I watched it like twice, and it was more ads than it was videos. I would
That's
say.
too
What
bad.
would you say, Gus?
I was hoping he would kind of go, because I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger he'll sometimes throw out some weird YouTube stuff, but he's like collaborating with people who are actually making, you know, I don't know, like Corridor Digital or something, you know, like they're making like real scripted shit.
Schwarzenegger made something with Corridor Digital?
I think they did.
That's really cool.
Was
How
it
did I
them?
not see
It was
that?
like a tank thing, or like I don't remember. But
Oh no, yeah, I do remember that.
was that
yeah.
that was them, right?
Yeah.
Like he like I don't know. It just feels like if you're gonna do that, you should really lean into it, and if you're gonna wear that hat, you know, wear the whole suit. So I don't know. It sucks that if The Rock is doing more shit on YouTube and it's just promotional, that's a little bit weird to me. That feels exactly like what I assumed it would be.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. But I don't know. At the end of the day, like for me, I guess everyone could say that about me, but I just like making shit and I don't have any control over whether or not that happens in my job. So like, if I'm gonna put stuff on YouTube, it's just because I'm feeling creative and I want to make something.
I don't think there's any fault in that. I'm just saying there's it's a disconnect with someone that's already like a titan of the industry, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not pulling in like fans to my channel a lot of the time, unless they're coming from someone else's channel a lot of the time.
well, no one's pulling in rock numbers, you know?
I mean, holy shit. Yeah, sometimes it's just like, don't you have enough, dude? Like,
Yeah.
But you know, if I were in his position, I don't know if I would do different either. So I don't know.
I asked myself that with his Apple ad. I'm sure it was a ton of money. And
I never
everything.
saw it. What was it?
But it's like it was a big promotion with Siri, and it was like this huge campaign they did. I don't know that lifestyle at all. So maybe you get very wealthy, and then everyone around you is wealthy, and you want to keep living that way. But sometimes, and I think Bo Burnham really brought it to my attention, where it's like people that are ultra famous doing these ad campaigns. It's like, do you really need to do that though?
Yeah.
Because like sponsorship stuff. For lower end people, it's like they gotta do it to get by. But
Right.
I don't know. I've never been in that situation, so I don't want to just like sling shit at them when I don't know at all.
True. Yeah. I mean, and again, this is all just like our perspective on stuff. We don't mean harm to any of these people we're kind of
Of course not.
talking about, but it is really interesting.
Yeah, you better watch out, Dwayne Johnson.
Oh,
I'm gonna
shit,
fuck
we're
you
gonna
up.
come get you.
Coming
boy.
for you.
Arm wrestle you to death.
Kick your ass.
But there's, I don't know. It's hard to look at landscapes like YouTube and feel good about a lot of the stuff that's happening on it, because it's like I feel like YouTube is doing that kind of thing where it's like, do you really need more money? Do you really need Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah.
Do you really need that? It's that same kind of perspective of like I don't see why sometimes they do the shit they do, because it does kind of take away from. It's like, I don't know, like when there's this thing that I kind of made up called the Oprah Winfrey syndrome, where she's a fine actress, she's fine, but if I ever see her in a movie, that's Oprah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
get the hell.
I don't care.
Get back on the couch.
It's like she's doing a great job. I mean, fucking, Harpo, like she does a great job, but like I will never not see Oprah.
Yeah, and I don't fault her with that too. Again, like I don't fault the individuals for diversifying. It just, you go like to the filmmakers, like, dude, you just want to get Oprah in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's valid, but it's also like for YouTube to try and make these TV shows or to like bring in celebrities to make their own channels and stuff. It's like, I see you. Like I I know what you're doing, and it's all money. It's all just like whatever. Oh, and I'm not saying that about Oprah. I genuinely feel like she's a creative spirit and wants to actually make stuff she cares about, and I support the hell out of that.
I love Oprah.
I do too. Oh my god. But there's.
I do too. I just didn't say anything.
Yeah, whatever. You get it. You hate it.
No, I'm not shitting on Oprah.
I don't want my silence to hate Oprah.
That woman could be president, and I would
I'm
vote.
more of a Steve Wilkos guy.
You're gonna have to explain who that is.
He's like a knockoff brand Jerry Springer.
Oh my god.
What the hell, guys?
I want a really specific name.
Real quick, I know this is like an audio thing, but we are currently looking at a holographic pink Porsche SUV.
I didn't even notice it until now.
Damn.
Do you see this? It's like reflective.
Yeah, metallic.
They haven't cleaned it, so that's good. This is like, why does that exist? Who are you?
I think we just have to accept that they're better than us.
That's probably right.
That's
You're
it.
right. You're not wrong.
I'm over it.
I got over it too.
That's what the car says, guys.
I don't want to be different. I want to blend in. What was this kind of? I guess when you were kids, like YouTube wasn't even like a possible career choice. But like, what was kind of your thing growing up that you guys were wanting to pursue?
I was
man,
filmmaking for me. I was just making videos. I even remember I was really proud of it. I have one of those nice like stories of loving filmmaking since I was a kid, which was my dad bought a camcorder for himself when I was like 4 to get to capture like vacations and stuff.
Right.
And I'd sometimes shoot videos with my cousins or my sister or my brother. And at one point, the charger got lost, and I remember desperately every time we cleaned the house trying to find the charger so I could make more videos. I didn't, but now I get to do it as a job, so it's all right.
That's so cool. That's a heartwarming.
Yeah. It was movies for a while, and then YouTube kind of came up, and I was like, well, that might be something that I want to do too.
That's cool as shit.
Well, you didn't really find the charger, so you're kind of a loser. So
That's true.
You never really made it.
Until I find that charger, I won't be able to do anything.
You're not a real filmmaker. You're just a YouTuber.
Wow.
I get an Oscar. They're like, wait, did you find the charger?
Yeah.
No, they rip it out of my
You
hand.
give me back this naked gold man. What about you guys? Were you kind of, because you said you weren't really like pursuing film, or were you, or like?
Well,
what was,
I was always interested in it. I didn't consider trying to go for it until probably my junior or senior year of high school. But I mean, I was really lucky growing up that my grandpa, who is still to this day incredibly up to date and very tech savvy and everything, and he's younger. He's a younger grandpa, I guess, for how old I am too. I think he's like 71.
He's 17.
Yeah, he's 17. I had my mom when he was like -10.
I have no questions. That makes perfect sense.
But he like all through my childhood, he ran like a tech repair company out of his the basement of his house. And coming from a small town, that's a less shady proposition, you know, than, hey, come to the basement of my grandpa's house to fix your computer.
This is my young grandpa.
Yeah.
Come meet my young grandpa in the basement.
He's about to graduate.
He's very tech savvy.
He was like the only guy in town that did that, so like it was a big thriving business and everything. But like from a young age, I always had access to like nice computers, and he was also a photographer, so I always had video cameras and microphones and stuff. So, I mean, as early as like 5th and 6th grade, I remember like riding bikes around town with my friend Joe and my little brother Sven, and just like having a big old camera on our back and like carrying tripods on the handlebars of our bikes and just going and shooting goofy videos.
That's so cool.
So we were making stuff and putting it on YouTube when we were in like 7th and 8th grade, and we were just making stuff all the time, and I loved it. It was my favorite thing to do. And I guess like junior year and senior year of high school, I started to realize like, okay, I'm kind of good at this, and I have no idea what the hell else I'm gonna do, so I might as well try to do this.
Oh man, I've absolutely been there. That was the whole pursuit of my career, was like, I'm not good at anything else. This is the only time I've gotten compliments, you know.
Yeah, and like
I don't know what else I would do if I wasn't doing entertainment stuff.
I've had to think about that a lot in the last couple of years. It's like, if I'm not an actor, what the fuck can I do?
Yeah.
You know, and it's good. I'm so glad you guys found your thing.
Yeah, I think it's easier too, like if people praise you for it, you know. And I was very lucky that in a small town like that, where no one else was really doing it, like it was easy to appear good to, you know, like, I mean, if your class sizes, like my class sizes were like 65, 70 kids, and if you're the only guy making anything with video, you know, even the shittiest thing looks kind of good to people that don't know how to do anything, you know,
Right,
like,
yeah.
And that's not an insult to them at all. I mean, just no one else was doing the same stuff, you know.
Yeah, I had sketches in high school that I'd put out, and people would be like, I would hate it after. I'd go, that was just a terrible shoot. It's not good. Then someone would come up and be like, man, that new video was so funny. And I'd be like, really?
How'd you put words on the video?
Now, how did you cut to different angles?
Yeah,
how
I don't
does
get it,
that
man.
work? I don't know.
That's awesome. I love that. I had never grown up with any intention, if that makes any sense. Like, I never had like a dream as a child. I remember the first time I had ever said I wanted to be anything was a bus driver, because I thought that would be pretty easy. That was so, which is, it's not like somebody was like, you have to have a job as an adult, and I'm like, oh fuck, I have to? All right, well, I guess a bus driver. I was like 6.
I love that quote. I never once had a dream as a child.
No, I didn't. I was just, and I didn't like, I was not notable as a person. Like, people didn't realize that I sat behind them for like all of our high school careers, but introduced themselves to me on multiple occasions. So I was just a little fart cloud, like wandering around my existence as a child and shit. And then I remember going into drama class and doing a monologue, and I hated it because I didn't think that it was like, I thought it was just stressful. I had anxieties. I was like, I don't want to get in front of people and talk. And my teacher was like, that was really good. You're really good at this. And that was the first time I'd ever heard that. I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. Well, I'll pay attention to that. That felt good. And I think I think everybody needs that kind of moment where they're like, this could be good. Instead of just like, oh, this could make me money. This could support my habit to buy weird food and stay alive.
Yeah.
I find that interesting with really any profession. I love hearing people's stories of like that moment they really wanted to get into it. Like, even like, I love hearing people's like teaching stories of when they like tried it out in high school or something and they absolutely loved it immediately.
Yeah.
So Gus, did you have like one specific moment
Yes,
too?
I'm so glad you asked. Thank you for asking.
I wanted to hear it.
Where I knew I wanted to be a performer. Not, where it's like I knew I wanted it. I didn't know I was going to go into it for college and stuff. But it was my 7th grade year. I used to be very shy as a kid.
Your grandpa was 10 at this time.
My
right?
grandpa was 10 at this time.
Sorry.
Good meme. So like,
you gotta rate him every time. It's 4 stars, not 5, but it's 4.
So I was like, I was really shy, and I didn't really I didn't go out of my comfort zone very often, and I was in choir because my mom made me be in choir, and I hated it, and I thought it was so stupid. But at the end of the year, every year, we had this like talent show for the 7th and 8th graders, and I didn't want to do it. I was terrified of it. But my mom, she's like, hey, I'm gonna make you do this talent show. And I was like, no. And she's like, listen, you're gonna thank me later, but you're gonna be in huge trouble if you don't do it. Like, I will punish you if you don't do this talent show.
That's awesome.
And I will pay you $25 if you do it. And I just was like,
that's fantastic.
I was
bribed you.
furious.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah. Oh my God, I was furious. And my mom was like, why would you? That's terrible. But I remember I went up there, and and it was kind of like a knockoff of American Idol. So they had like 3 judges that were like the high school girls, coming down to judge the.
Oh dear.
You were in 7th grade.
The
That's
most
terrifying.
judgmental.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Yeah. All the like pretty athletic high school girls came down.
Oh my God. I don't think I ever looked one of those girls in the eyes.
Oh, scary. Dude.
I was
scary.
too. Yeah, like I have to look at the feet or something, or look away. I can't.
I always look right above the audience.
Yeah.
So I remember I went up there on stage in front of the entire middle school and part of the high school and stuff, and I came out there with my little like foot-tall PV electric guitar amp, and my little yellow Fender Telecaster.
Oh man!
And I plugged in.
It's got built-in distortion because the speaker's broken already.
It. Yeah, there's a separate plug for it. And I remember I go up there and I sang Pork and Beans by Weezer.
That's awesome.
Oh, do the things I want to do. And I sang, and I got to the end, and everyone, they were cheering and stuff, and I was so nervous, and all the high school girls were like, oh my God, you were so cute. And I just was like, oh, like it felt so cool.
I don't want this to end ever.
I don't want this to end. And then I won the talent show.
Whoa, dude. That's awesome.
So I won, and I was really shy, and I walked back alone to the middle school because everyone else had left because I had to go get the prize. It was like $10 or something. So I walked back to the middle school, and a bunch of my classmates were waiting at the front door for me, and they were cheering, and they picked me up and carried me back to my locker.
Is this a movie from the 80s?
It sounds like
there's like a freeze frame when they pick you up.
It sounds like I'm reading like a Family Ties script or something.
That's crazy.
So they picked me up and carried me back to the locker, and of course it was uncomfortable. It was a bunch of kids and I was like falling off.
Nobody knows how to like hold a person.
Yeah,
so just, like,
a lot of groin grabs.
That's so
stuff.
funny. Well, hey man,
But
first time for everything.
But they like carried me back and they dropped me off there, and then school got done, and I was like, damn, damn, I would love to do this again. This felt great.
That's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So then I went out of my comfort zone. I just started performing more and singing and stuff. And I don't know. That was definitely a very pivotal moment.
That's a fantastic story.
I had that with comedy and not entertainment, where I did improv in high school, but even though I was doing YouTube stuff, and I still feel really uncomfortable saying it. Gus, do you ever just and just specifically James, I'm asking Gus because he does specifically comedy stuff. Do you refer to yourself as funny ever?
No, I feel weird.
I feel really weird with it, and I just was convincing myself, even though I loved comedy and wanted to do it, that I wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And then I got to do improv, and people would go to the shows and not only do that where they'd wait after the show and talk to me and say how much it made them laugh, but then I'd also hear from other people that they heard how well it went for me in the improv show the next day.
Oh.
So it was just adjusting of people's praise actually made me confident enough to go into comedy and feel like I could actually do it.
Right.
But before it was always making excuses I don't know, I can't go on stage because I'm just gonna try and be funny and people aren't gonna like it at all.
Yeah, I feel weird. I've never felt like a comedic person, especially as a performer. I've never known. I guess just because I've always done really dramatic stuff. I don't really know. I never really knew how to be funny, and that was what was really scary about getting onto Sugar Pine for me. Was that was specifically a comedy thing.
I think immediately you worked with it though. I think right away it was this guy's really, really, really funny.
That's sweet of you. I very genuinely, the first few videos I was I don't know if this is working. I feel really, because those guys are so fucking funny, and they really know what they're doing. And it was it was just intimidating, and I felt like there was a lot of expectation for me to perform well, I guess, because they had this whole persona of me being this person who's done shit in the past. So when I got on there, I was I'm gonna disappoint everybody because I'm not funny at all. But I don't know, the more I figure out who I am as a person, the more comfortable I feel doing comedy, because I always felt confident socially when it comes to making people laugh. If I'm in a conversation, I feel like I can make people laugh that way. But when it comes to actually performing, I've never really known how that works.
Can I mention just one of my favorite things you've done in a Sugar Pine video was when you were swinging the anchor on the boat. That made me laugh so much. Because the reactions... Did you do that and they weren't going to know, or was that part of the video?
They had no idea.
Okay, because the reaction was whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. No, that was a very genuine thing. And I think I did that 3 more times. They just didn't film it. They were I turned around why aren't you guguys filming? I'm fucking putting my life in danger. That was a really fun shoot. But that was also a really stressful day, because I got, because they poured that fucking Gatorade all over me at the very end of it. I just remember being hot and sticky and sunburned.
Man. I can't be sticky for too long. That really messes with me.
And I remember driving that fucking terrible Jeep home, and it was so hard to drive, and I got a call from my manager, and I was I have to talk to him, but it was so loud in there, and I was piloting this thing with one arm, and that was we all could have very easily died, and the police would have found the footage on that camera and been what the fuck is wrong with these guys?
They were trying to die earlier. They're swinging an anchor around.
Oh my god, man. Yeah, that's why one of the many reasons I think why my character went so off the rails in that, because I didn't feel like being myself was very funny, so I had to find some way to take it as far away from my day-to-day personality as possible, but also making the struggle of why that things happening, why my character going through those certain things, making that really parallel to my life. I don't know. I had to relate to it, but then also be as far from it as possible in some other way. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it does make sense. I think sometimes, and I wonder, I feel regretful sometimes almost for videos that I shoot, because sometimes I think, am I just being too nuts just for the sake of being nuts?
Yeah,
I think it's funny.
And I worry about that all the time, because it does feel the louder I am, the funnier it is, but that's just not.
Yeah, but then it's because clearly the anchor bit kicked ass, and people thought it was super funny and stuff. And then we were just talking, off mic earlier about that one of the videos I put out lately was this Mitchell Robbins thing where I played this batshit
fucking funny
crazy character, but when I was shooting it, it just was I was just going for jokes that didn't really string together, and it was just in your face and really violent and stuff, and I kept asking the cameraman, my brother was dude, is this fucking funny enough? Is this just stupid?
No, it's great. I think sometimes it's just when you take chances like that tends to be the funniest stuff. Sometimes it's not, but I don't know. I feel what was great about your character was that that's kind of like a real thing.
Yeah.
Like there's something, I don't know, that was, maybe I'm looking too deep into it, because this is where my brain always goes with when I watch it like this. It's like, I've in some way felt kind of like that about something different, you know, where it seems simple to everybody else, but like I'm fucking up about it and I don't know what's wrong with me. It's like I could oddly relate to him, and him just like running into shit and not making any notice of it, but like everybody else is like, oh my god, you know, like there was something kind of, I don't know, my brain was like, this is a metaphor that I fucking relate to. Something about it was like super fucking cool, and I think that's the funniest stuff. The darker the thing is, the funnier it is for me.
I like seeing stuff on screen because I like the bit, if you haven't seen it, I bang my head on a cupboard door probably 10 times in the video, and I never react to it.
It's so
blinking.
funny.
And I kind of just like when stuff isn't explained on screen, like the inexplicable is kind of funny to me.
Yeah. Well, I think that the human brain works that way in multiples, because that's the best way to make a horror movie, is to let the audience kind of decide what is scary instead of actually showing them.
Yeah.
And I think that works that way for comedy a lot of the time too. It's like what's funny to people is very specific and individual to them. So if you can kind of make something funny but also make it kind of vague too, it's like that will be more relatable to more people somehow. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
But there's also something really funny about being way too specific that I like.
Yeah, like making a 13-minute Home Alone 2 video isn't exactly for broad audiences.
When you explain that, though, the explanation of that video is really fucking funny.
I felt that the idea was, I don't know how the execution was. People seem to like it a lot. I still am like kind of iffy about the video, but yeah, just making it. Just doing that idea and having the freedom to do that idea was a joke itself.
Yeah, it's almost like describing the video as funnier than the actual video.
Yeah.
Not that I've seen it. I'm not commenting.
No,
on
yeah, I told Gus beforehand that I was like, I don't know if this will execute well, but I like the idea of it.
Yeah, I have so many things like that where like I wish I knew how to. I have so many scripts like this that are like half baked, and like I get halfway through and I'm like, I don't know how to execute things that I think up, you know, a lot of the time. And I think that's a big part of, again, going back to being pretentious about it, I think that's a big part of art is being successful is just a matter of taking your ideas and putting them out there in a way that is digestible. And I guess that's a director's job. So it's kind of cool that you guys are producers, actors, writers, directors, editors. It's like you have the entire fucking thing on your shoulders. And it's like, I don't know how people don't respect that more. But it takes a lot to make an idea digestible for multiple people. That shit's really impressive to me. Well, folks, on that note, I don't know if this was at all like hearable because it's the car and everyone in LA is super loud, but we have arrived at our destination, and we appreciate you joining us for today's video. Hopefully there'll be more stuff regularly down the road, and try to do something weekly. So find us at the end of the week every week for this sort of situation if you're into it. Boys, where can they find you on multiple social media platforms?
You can find me on YouTube. Just look up Gus Johnson. And if you want to follow me further, look in the description. Links, as always, in the description down below.
Yes, sir.
Mine is on everywhere. I got lucky enough to have my full name on everything. So it's Eddy Burback, Eddie with a Y, and that's it.
Cool. Well, folks, thanks for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you next time. I never have an outro. I gotta find